Money makes the world go round, and the United States plays a big role in global finance. But did you know that some countries owe the U.S. money? In this 10-minute video, we're counting down the top 10 countries that owe the U.S. money in 2025, based on U.S.-held foreign debt. From massive economies to tiny financial hubs, get ready for the numbers, the reasons, and a few surprises. Let's dive in. First, let's clarify what we mean by owe the U.S. money. We're not talking about countries directly borrowing cash from the U.S. government like a loan. Most of these debts aren't repaid in that sense. Instead, we're looking at U.S.-owned foreign securities, like stocks, bonds, and other financial assets held by American entities, including the government, companies, and investors. According to the U.S. Department of the Treasury's latest reports, the U.S. holds around $9 trillion in foreign securities as of recent data, with a significant portion in debt. These figures can shift, but based on 2023 to 2024 data and trends, here's our list of the top 10, starting from number 10. Number 10. India. India, the world's most populous country, owes the U.S. about $224 billion in foreign debt, roughly 8% of its GDP. This debt comes from U.S. investments in Indian securities, including bonds and stocks, often tied to its fast-growing economy. Multilateral institutions like the World Bank and bilateral creditors like Japan also lend to India, but U.S. holdings reflect its trade and investment ties, despite India's push for self-reliance. Number 9. Taiwan. Taiwan owes the U.S. around $226 billion, about 40% of its GDP. This debt is mostly short-term and linked to Taiwan's massive electronics exports to the U.S., like semiconductors. U.S. companies and investors hold Taiwanese bonds and stocks, reflecting strong trade ties, though China's territorial claims add geopolitical complexity to these financial connections. Number 8. Ireland. Ireland owes the U.S. about $255 billion, roughly 60% of its GDP. As an EU member and tech hub, Ireland attracts U.S. investment in its corporations and bonds, especially in pharmaceuticals and IT. Its low corporate tax rates make it a favorite for U.S. multinationals, but some of this debt might reflect foreign entities routing investments through Ireland, inflating the figure. Number 7. Brazil. Brazil owes the U.S. around $284 billion, about 12% of its GDP. This debt stems from U.S. investments in Brazilian bonds and stocks, driven by its role in agriculture, mining, and energy. Economic instability and high interest rates in 2025 might affect repayment, but U.S. holdings show confidence in Brazil's long-term potential, despite recent challenges. Number 6. Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands owe the U.S. about $284 billion, a staggering amount relative to its tiny GDP, over 4,000 times larger. As a tax haven and financial conduit, the Caymans hold massive U.S. investments, but much of this debt reflects international capital flows, not direct country-to-country loans. U.S. entities invest here for offshore banking, making the figure complex and potentially overstated for the nation itself. Number 5. Switzerland. Switzerland owes the U.S. about $292 billion, around 35% of its GDP. Known for banking and neutrality, Switzerland's debt to the U.S. comes from U.S. holdings in Swiss bonds and stocks, particularly through its financial sector. Its total external debt is over $1.8 trillion, but U.S. investments highlight strong economic ties with private entities and other nations like Germany and France. Number 4. South Korea. South Korea owes the U.S. about $276 billion, roughly 10% of its GDP. This debt reflects U.S. investments in Korean securities, tied to its tech giants like Samsung and Hyundai, plus trade partnerships. Geopolitical tensions with North Korea add complexity, but U.S. holdings show confidence in South Korea's stable economy. Number 3. Luxembourg. Luxembourg owes the U.S. around $318 billion, over 200 times its GDP. As a major financial center, it hosts multinational corporations and banks, with U.S. entities holding significant debt here. However, much of this might reflect foreign investors routing funds through Luxembourg as a tax haven, potentially inflating its debt figure for U.S. holdings. Number 2, Belgium. Belgium owes the United States about $331 billion, roughly 60% of its GDP. Much of this debt is linked to Euroclear, a financial institution in Belgium handling international transactions, including U.S. Treasury securities. Posts on X suggest some debate. Belgium's debt might include investments from other countries using its financial infrastructure, complicating the true ownership. Number 1, Japan. Japan tops the list, owing the United States about $1.15 trillion, around 20% of its GDP. As the largest foreign holder of U.S. debt, Japan's position here reflects U.S. investments in Japanese bonds and stocks, driven by its status as a major economy and safe haven for global capital. This mutual debt relationship underscores deep economic ties, though Japan's aging population and economic challenges in 2025 add nuance. Why do these countries owe the United States money? It's not direct loans but investments, U.S. entities buying their securities for diversification or trade benefits. But here's the twist. Many of these countries also hold U.S. debt, like Japan and China owning U.S. treasuries. It's a global financial dance, not a one-way street. The data's complex. Some figures might reflect tax havens or intermediaries, so take it with a grain of salt. What do you think? Does this debt system benefit or burden these nations? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you found this fascinating, hit that like button, subscribe for more global finance insights, and ring the bell for updates. Next time, we'll explore who owes money to the United States in other ways. See you then.